Shabbat Shalom. Our rabbis tell us a very important principle, that when tragedy strikes, we should make a blessing to God. The words of the blessings are, Baruch Dayan Haemet. Blessed are you, the true judge. We do not understand the ways of God, but we put our faith that ultimately things will work out okay. In our parasha is a classic example of this exact blessing. Joseph is 17 years old. His father Jacob gives him a cloak of many colors. This causes the brothers great hatred for Joseph. Joseph then has dreams of visions of greatness, of how the brothers' sheaves will bow down to him, how the sun, the moon, and the stars will also bow down to him. But the brothers, consumed with anger, decide that he's a mortal threat to them, and they end up selling him down to Egypt. End of story, supposedly. But it's down in Egypt that Joseph will first of all be bought by the house of Potiphar, will be accused of infidelity, thrown into prison, and will ultimately rise to become the viceroy of Egypt. There he'll be in a position to save the Jewish people in a time of tragedy. But 22 years will go by before he's able to reveal himself. He's now 39 years old when the brothers appear before him. When Jacob is told the news, Od Yosef Chai, Joseph is alive, he's now the leader of the entire Egypt. He cannot fathom it, he cannot believe it. Jacob heads down to Joseph and hugs him. And because of the famine, the Jewish people are in a position to be protected. They go settle in the land of Goshen. The rabbis tell us a fantastic lesson, that the brothers in this week's Parashat Vayeishev are dealing with the small issues of hatred towards their brother. And Hashem is orchestrating the world that Jacob and his family will ultimately be protected. It is for this reason that we recite the words Baruch Dayan Haemet when we are faced with a tragedy. We never really understand what is going on. But as Jews, we have faith that there's God up above and God has a purpose for us. They tell the famous the story about a philosopher who was asked recently what his thoughts were about the events of the French Revolution in the 1790s. His response was, too early to tell. There are events that take place within our lives that are just too early to tell. Sometimes we may think we understand where this is heading, but ultimately we need to have the broad spectrum of time to be able to really appreciate what is going on. When Jacob receives the horrific news that Joseph is missing, he tears his garments and he cries out, Baruch Dayan Haemet. God has taken my son. He has no idea what is being planned and orchestrated. Each one of the brothers, Joseph himself, played their little part, like being pieces on a chessboard, being moved into place to allow for the prophecy that God had given to Abraham to come to fruition. God told Abraham, you know that your children will be strangers in the land which is not theirs. There they will be for 400 years. But don't worry, I'll bring them out as a nation and bring them back to the land of Israel. The journey is certainly a long and arduous one. And the faith of the Jewish people has been within those words of declaration, Baruch Dayan Haemet. We really do not understand how the system works. We really can't see the big picture, but we have faith in that ultimately it is God in charge and God knows what's going on. This is beautifully described and illustrated in our parshiot of Parashat Vayeishev, Miketz, Vayigash, and Vayechi. Shabbat Shalom.